Carl Jung, Meeting the Shadow Within. What if the part of you that keeps messing things up isn't your enemy, but your unmet self knocking on the door? The jealousy you hate, the anger you pretend you don't have, the craving for approval, the secret relief when someone else fails. You can push it down for years, but the shadow doesn't disappear. It just shows up sideways, in your reactions, your relationships, your self-sabotage. In this episode, we'll make Jung's shadow simple and usable. Not as spooky psychology, but as a calm, honest map for real life. You'll learn what the shadow actually is and what it's not, why being positive can make it worse, how shadow projection destroys relationships, and a few practical ways to meet the shadow without shame and without turning into a mess. Here's the big idea. The shadow is not evil. The shadow is whatever you had to hide to be accepted, and whatever you still refuse to see in yourself. Jung's goal wasn't to make you perfect, it was to make you whole. Because wholeness is what gives you real calm. You stop being shocked by your own emotions. You stop worshiping your good image. You stop getting hijacked by the parts you deny. And you start making choices from your center, not from your wounds. Meeting the shadow isn't about becoming darker. It's about becoming honest, and therefore more free. Part 1. Introduction. 1. Why Jung's shadow idea was born. Jung lived in a time when Europe was proud of its civilization, and then watched it rip itself apart. He was born in 1875 in Switzerland. He lived through the rise of modern science, the collapse of old religious certainty, and the psychological shockwaves of World War I and II. So picture the atmosphere. People were building machines, cities, empires, and at the same time, inside the human mind, there was anxiety, repression, nationalism, mass violence, and spiritual hunger. Jung looked at that and thought, this isn't just politics. This is psychological. When a person denies their inner darkness, it doesn't vanish. It gets projected onto enemies, outsiders, scapegoats, and then it becomes justified violence. The shadow for Jung wasn't a poetic metaphor. It was a survival issue. 2. Who Carl Jung was. Jung was a Swiss psychiatrist and the founder of analytical psychology. Early in his career, he worked closely with Sigmund Freud, and for a while he was basically Freud's heir. But Jung eventually broke with Freud, partly because Jung believed the human psyche was bigger than sexuality and repression alone. He was more interested in meaning, symbols, dreams, myth, spirituality, and the way the unconscious shapes a whole life. And here's the important part. Jung didn't just study the unconscious like a scientist studying an insect. He also turned inward and faced his own inner world, sometimes intensely. He recorded dreams, fantasies, and symbolic experiences in what later became known as the Red Book, a personal record of encountering the unconscious. So when Jung talks about meeting the shadow, he's not selling a cute self-help idea. He's describing a confrontation with the parts of you that you'd rather not know, and the freedom that can come from that honesty. Part 2. Core exploration. 3. What the shadow is. Let's define it without fog. The shadow is the part of you that your conscious identity rejects. It includes traits you learned were unacceptable, like anger, neediness, envy, selfishness, vulnerability, greed, arrogance, sexuality, competitiveness, laziness, cruelty even, confidence in some families. Yes, confidence can be shadow, if you grew up in a home where standing out was punished. The shadow isn't only bad traits. It's often life energy that got banned. If you were praised for being nice, maybe your shadow is your anger. If you were praised for being strong, maybe your shadow is your softness. If you were praised for being spiritual, maybe your shadow is your desire, your ambition, your mess. 4. How the shadow forms. Why you had to hide parts of yourself. The shadow forms very early. A child is simple. I feel it, so it must be real. But then the child learns rules. Don't cry. Don't talk back. Don't be weird. Be the good one. Be the smart one. Be the strong one. So the child starts building a safe self to survive. Jung called this social mask the persona, the face you present to the world. The persona isn't fake, it's necessary. We all need a persona to function in society. But here's the trap. When you over-identify with the persona, when you think, this is who I am and I must stay this way to be loved, whatever doesn't fit gets pushed into the shadow. That's the psychological cost of belonging. 5. Misconception number 1. Shadow work means being negative all the time. No, shadow work is not wallowing. It's not obsessing over trauma 24/7. It's not turning your life into a therapy session. Shadow work is simply this. Stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending you don't have what you clearly have. The goal is not darkness. The goal is integration. So your life stops being driven by what you deny. 6. Misconception number 2. The shadow is only evil. This is huge, and people get it wrong constantly. The shadow can include your creativity, your leadership, your erotic energy, your ambition, your confidence, your ability to say no, your desire to be seen. Some people are nice, not because they're loving, but because they're terrified. Their anger is in the shadow. Their boundaries are in the shadow. Their power is in the shadow. So they end up resentful, passive-aggressive, exhausted. And they call it being a good person. Jung would say, that's not goodness. That's fear wearing a halo. 7. Misconception number 3. If I meet my shadow, I'll become worse. This fear is common. People think, if I admit I'm angry, I'll become violent. If I admit I'm jealous, I'll become toxic. If I admit I'm selfish, I'll become a monster. But denial doesn't make you better. Denial makes you unconscious. And unconscious traits don't disappear. They leak. Meeting the shadow doesn't mean obeying it. It means seeing it so you can choose. Awareness is not permission. Awareness is freedom. 8. How the shadow shows up. Signs you're being run by it. If you want a practical checklist, here it is. The shadow often shows up as overreaction. Your response is bigger than the moment. Compulsion. You can't stop, even when you want to. Instant moral certainty. You feel pure and right, and someone else is pure wrong. Chronic irritation. You're always annoyed by the same type of person. Secret envy. You hate them, but you also can't stop watching them. Patterned sabotage. Right when things get good, you burn it down. Double life energy. One version of you for the world, another inside your head. If you're thinking, okay, this is uncomfortable, good. That's the door. 9. The most dangerous shadow habit. Projection. Projection is when you put your denied traits onto someone else. You don't just dislike them, you feel charged around them. The person becomes a screen, and your shadow uses that screen to stay hidden. Examples. You deny your anger, so you accuse others of being aggressive. You deny your desire, so you judge others as dirty. You deny your ambition, so you call successful people fake. You deny your neediness, so you label others clingy. You deny your selfishness, so you call others narcissists all day long. Sometimes people you hate are carrying something you disowned, and sometimes people you worship are carrying something you haven't owned yet. Projection keeps you emotionally stuck because you keep fighting them when the real battle is inside. 10. The emotional twist. Your shadow might be protecting you. Here's where the roller coaster turns. The shadow often formed as protection. If you had to be easy to avoid conflict, your shadow might hold your anger. If you had to be perfect to be safe, your shadow might hold your mess. If you had to be funny to survive, your shadow might hold your grief. So when you meet the shadow, don't go in with hatred. Go in with curiosity. Ask, what were you trying to protect me from? What did I have to become to survive? What did I have to bury to belong? That question alone can soften years of shame. 11. Story. Jung's own descent. A human reminder. After Jung broke with Freud, he went through a long inner crisis, a period of intense dreams and visions. He didn't treat it as madness to be erased. He treated it as a message to be understood. He developed practices like writing, drawing, and dialoguing with inner figures, what later connects to active imagination, to bring unconscious material into consciousness. Whether you agree with all of Jung's conclusions or not, the story carries a powerful point. Your inner world doesn't get quieter because you ignore it. It gets quieter when you listen carefully. 12. Practice number 1. The trigger translation. 2 minutes. When you're triggered, don't just ask, what did they do? Ask, what did this touch in me? Do this in 3 steps. Name the emotion: anger, shame, envy, fear, disgust. Name the story. I'm not respected. I'm not safe. I'm not chosen. Name the shadow request. I want power. I want attention. I want boundaries. I want to matter. Not to blame yourself, but to find the honest need under the reaction. 13. Practice number 2. What I dislike might be what I deny. Pick one person who annoys you irrationally. Write 3 sentences. I can't stand how they are. The trait they show openly is, my shadow version of this trait might be, example, I can't stand how confident they are. Trait, confidence. Shadow, your own confidence is banned, so their confidence feels like an insult. This doesn't mean they're perfect. It means your reaction is giving you information. 14. Practice number 3. Shadow journaling. The 2-column truth. Make 2 columns. Column A. What I show calm, nice, responsible, spiritual, rational. Column B. What I hide. Rage, resentment, desire, laziness, insecurity, hunger for recognition. Now the key step. Next to each hidden trait, write, what good thing might this energy be trying to do for me? Rage might be protecting your boundaries. Desire might be trying to reconnect you to life. Ambition might be trying to make you grow. Envy might be pointing to what you actually want. 15. Practice number 4. Dream work. Jung took dreams seriously, not as prophecy, but as psychological truth. Simple way to begin. Keep a notebook by the bed. Write down even one image when you wake up. Ask, what emotion did this dream carry? Ask, where do I feel this emotion in my life right now? Don't hunt for perfect interpretation. Look for emotional honesty. 16. Practice number 5. Active imagination with safety and boundaries. Active imagination means dialoguing with an inner part through writing, drawing, or guided reflection. Try the safest beginner version. 2 minutes. Name the part. The angry one. The people pleaser. The judge. The lonely one. Ask one question. What do you want me to know? Write the first honest answer without censoring. End with, thank you, I'll consider it. Important. If you have severe trauma symptoms, dissociation, or feel destabilized by inner work, do this with professional support. Shadow work should make you more grounded, not less. 17. The relief. Integration looks like calm. When you integrate the shadow, you don't become perfect. You become less reactive, less performative, less addicted to approval, more honest, more steady under pressure. You stop needing to be a saint, and you stop fearing that you're a monster. You become human, and that's the beginning of peace. Part 3. Practical application for your daily life. 18. Daily life. The shadow moment protocol. Use this anytime you feel hijacked. Pause. Put one hand on your chest or stomach. Say, a part of me is activated. Ask, is this about now or about then? Choose one grounded action. Breathe, walk, drink water, delay the text. This is how you stop the shadow from driving the car. 19. Relationships. Stop asking who's wrong. Ask, what's unmet? Shadow projection is relationship poison. Instead of, you always, try, when this happens, I feel. The story I tell myself is, what I need is. This doesn't erase accountability. It just removes the performance and adds truth. Also, learn to notice the shadow compliment. When you feel intense admiration, ask, what quality do I need to claim in myself? 20. Work and ambition. The shadow behind burnout. Sometimes burnout isn't only workload. Sometimes it's shadow. Like, the shadow need to prove your worth. The shadow fear of being ordinary. The shadow belief that rest makes you weak. If you can't rest without guilt, that guilt is a shadow teacher. It's showing you the hidden rule you live under. 21. Spirituality. The shadow behind goodness. One of Jung's deepest warnings is that people can become spiritually good on the surface while being unconscious underneath. So here's a gentle test. If your spirituality makes you more humble, more compassionate, more honest, good. If it makes you superior, judgmental, allergic to negative emotion, watch out. That's not enlightenment. That's a polished persona. 22. A balanced goal. Not kill the ego, but soften the grip. People throw around ego like it's the villain. But you need an ego to function, to make decisions, set boundaries, pay bills, and live in time. The issue isn't having an ego. The issue is letting the ego pretend it's the whole self. Meeting the shadow doesn't destroy your identity. It matures it. 23. When to get help. If your shadow work brings up panic that doesn't settle, intrusive memories, dissociation, thoughts of self-harm, addiction spirals, violent impulses you can't regulate, that's not a moral failure. That's a signal to do this with a therapist or trained professional. Jung would not tell you to white-knuckle your unconscious alone. He would tell you to respect it. Part 4. Closing reflection. The quiet ending. The shadow is not the part of you that makes you unlovable. It's the part of you that never got fully welcomed into awareness. And when you finally meet it, not with drama, not with self-hatred, but with steady honesty, something changes. Your emotions become information, not emergencies. Your relationships become cleaner. Your goodness becomes real, not performative. And your peace becomes sturdier, because it isn't built on denial. So tonight, start small. Name one emotion you usually hide. Tell one truth you usually avoid. And take one breath that says, I can face myself without abandoning myself. That's what Jung meant by meeting the shadow within. Not becoming darker, becoming whole.